Hi, I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you some 3D printed cutters that my husband's designed for me on his 3D printer, and I'm going to be selling these in my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link down below in the description box. As you can see, there's 7 different sizes, and this one's got a hole in the middle, so that's why it's a donut, so a Moroccan donut cutter. Now I've also got a set of donut which is the same outline shape, but it's not got the cutter for the inside, so it's not got that missing piece. Dropping them now. It's not got that bit in the middle to cut out the hole that you would have in a donut. But some of mine have gone walkies. I don't know where my set's gone. I need to go hunting for them. But both of the sets will be available, so you can buy either or both, or none at all. You can just use whatever cutters you've got. I just wanted to show you what you can do with these, and I've made some little bits of jewellery. Just some quick pieces that you can make, but there's lots that you can do with these cutters. So let's get going and I'll show you how. Now I've got this tiny little bit of a rainbow Skinner blend left over that I've been making some charms with, and I thought I don't want to waste it, but I want to put more to it because there's not enough here for me to do it. So I've got some Fimo Galaxy White, and I didn't know that they did this, and it's sort of like a mix between pearl and a glitter sort of thing. It's got like a shimmery flecks in it. Don't know whether if you can tell on the camera very well, but I like it anyway. It adds an extra element to my work. So I've just got this bit that's about the same size, so I'm wanting to more or less double what I've got here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run it through my pasta machine until it's fully blended. So now I've gone through it once, I'm just going to fold it onto itself again and just keep doing that, and hopefully I will get a really nice pastel rainbow blend. So once I've done that, and I'll come back. So you can see that I've got a nice pastel version of that rainbow. I could probably go even lighter. I did add a little bit more white than I had to get it to this, but I'm quite happy with that one. But I'm wanting to get the colours so that they're closer together. So to do that, I'm just going to fold this onto itself, but instead of putting this edge through the pasta machine, I'm going to be putting it in that way. So this end, just depending on which you want to put through first. So I'm going to send it through my thickest setting to start with. As you can see, it's a lot longer now, but I'm wanting to go down a few more settings just so that we get a graduated transition between the colours, so that we get a nice softer blend. So that was a number 2. I'm going to a 4, I think we should be alright with a 4. You want to stick it down as thin as you know your pasta machine will take you, that you feel comfortable working with. So now I can't get it on because it's not long, but the idea is, what I'm going to do now is, yeah, I could probably go thinner, but I don't want to risk it and then it tear up the blend. So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to fan fold this all the way to I've got that all unfolded now. I'm just going to squeeze it and get the air out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out this way. So as you can see, the colours are a lot closer together than they were before. So depending on which size of the cutters you want to use, you know, it doesn't have to be the shape that I'm using. I'm just showing you my new ones anyway. Got a bit of purple going off in the red. Don't want you there. No. So I'll just take this down to my thickest setting again. So this one will probably fit. Take it just a little bit wider and then I'll get that third size in. Don't be afraid to play with the clay and get it to a, you know, the size that you're wanting it to be. You don't have to stick to it however it comes out. you know, it's easy to move about. That's the wonderful thing about polymer clay. So yeah, we can fit that size on now. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to do one foot so it can be done as a pendant, and then I'm going to do 2 smaller ones so it can be earrings. But the problem with that is I'm going to have to make the colours go even closer together, unless I just go straight in the middle, which I could do. So you just play around with what you're wanting to do. So I'm going to use the one that's got the hole in the centre to start with. You just want something as a release, so I'm just using some water. Just make sure your clay is stuck to your mat. And just dip your cutter in with water. And make sure you've got it the right way around as to what you want if you're doing a rainbow blend like this. And just push down and lift up. And then set that one into 4. Yeah, I think I'll go with some just at the top half of it, and then I can make some other ones, you know, with the bottom end next time. So I'll go the way around that I wanted it. Now I don't want it to be all red at the top, so I've just moved it down a little bit. Oh, that one's come out. Probably didn't get enough water. Right, so if that happens, just take a needle tool or just something that's not too sharp and just poke it out a little bit. If you've got some of the clay shapers, they're also a good thing to get things out. This is why you need to make sure you've got a release or something. I've not had enough water left on my mat, so that's why that one's stuck. Now you can get marks like this from pushing it out, but you just basically rub at them and it smooths them back out again. So it's not the end of the world if you get the odd mark on there. So, and then I'm going to take some of the ones that I've actually got that's not got the middle bit in. So I'm going to go with a larger one. So I think we'll go with that. Then I'll put some more water down in there, Becca, and then so these could be some bigger earrings or pendants. Or it could be bases for a little figurine if you're into making figurines. So let's go and get some of the really teeny tiny ones. That one. Here. So I just want to try and get as much as I can out of this little bit of clay, and then I can squish it back together and I can use it for some others. Done it again. Right, let's see if I can. No, it's not big enough, the little hole from there. So I'm just pushing, going down in between. This is when you get into the smaller sizes of making these cutters, you've got to have something going across the base to keep them stable. So you don't get as much wiggle room for you to be able to put something through to poke stuff out. I've also heard that cornstarch is a good one to use as a release. I've not used it, I've just heard it on other polymer clay artists' videos that I've watched. So we've got those ones. And then with these ones you get the little bits that are left over that you can use in your earring, and then these ones are just solid ones that you can do something with. So I'm just going to take that up. And I'll still be able to use this because I'll fold it back on itself and squish it back together and do what we did before. So I'll just, and then I'll blend it through the press machine like I did when we were originally blending it through, and then I'll just get different colour blends with that one, but I'll do that So say, where's my, there it is. So when you take your blade, you just want to go at a sort of, I wouldn't say 45-degree angle, but just at an angle, and press it into the glass mat if you're working on a glass mat or another hard surface, whatever you're working on. And now the centre bit's just got this little bit of a fuzzy bit around the edges, as most cutters do, especially the 3D printer ones. So you just smooth those out, and you can use that to be another added element within your, if you're doing a pendant or something else. Now on the inside one, you'll need something relatively small and round for you to be able to smooth it off. My fingers are too chunky to get in this little gap, so just using my paintbrush. Just rolling it around, and this just neatens it up. And then do the same with the edges. The warmth from your hand will blend the fuzzy bits back into the rest of the clay, so you get a nice neat edge. There we go. So that's all neatened up. So I'm going to go and do the rest on these, because you don't want to watch that because that'll be boring as heck. So I'll go and get them. Right, so I've got them all smoothed out and ready for me to decorate. You can leave them just like that. That's totally up to you, but I just want to add some embellishment to them. Now, you don't have to have it that way around. This is the top, you can have it that way around as well, just depending on what look you want to go for. So I'm going to take the one with the hole in first. Stick a bit of piece of paper. And this is just so that I can move it around a lot easier when I'm decorating. Now I've got my trusty little box of ends of canes that I'm just going to do a bit of decoration with. Now, like I said, this is totally up to you which, you know, whatever way you want to do them. I'm just trying to look for a leaf. Oh, I've got a nice little small one. So when you're doing it, just look at the size of the ends. You can, if it's going to be in proportion to whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Now I'm going to just take this down a little bit. And because these are fairly old canes now, they can get a bit crumbly. So it's good that you don't reduce them down too much if you're still wanting to go slice them up in the future. Now if you use all of your cane up all in one go, you won't have this problem, but I just like to keep a little bit of each of them for me to do projects like this. It's just a case of waking up the clay again, because as you know, clay goes rather stiff when it's not been played with in a while, so I think that's a lot better. So I'm just moving out here, so I think that'll be fine. So as a test run, just take this little bit off the end because it's not a clean cut with me, just reducing it down. It bulged out a little bit. Taking some, so when I'm cutting these leaves, I like to just rotate the cane from side to side when I'm cutting it, just so that it doesn't squish one side more than the other one. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put here at the bottom. Yeah, I'm going to just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to put a little bit of bacon bond liquid clay. It bakes clear, so don't worry about it, you'll not be seen when you've done. Just putting this on just as a bit of insurance, really, just to make sure that the old cane sticks to the newer clay that we've conditioned, because the newer stuff's obviously a lot softer, and then when you're putting old cane slices on, sometimes they don't want to stick as well. So put that there. Right, so I'm just pressing down in the centre with the leaves. Now that's just to make sure that they're adhered to it, and then I'm just going to get a little flower. I'm going to go with this little cabbage rose cane. I did have some rainbow flower canes left over. I did a tutorial on them. I'll put those in the description box as well. And I thought they might have gone well, but not got any of that one left, unfortunately. So again, I'm just reducing it down to what I want. Now, I have learned recently that you can reduce your cane down to the size you want it. So say if you wanted it really thin, bake it, and while it's still warm, not when it's fresh out of the oven, because if you do it fresh out of the oven you're going to burn your fingers, but while it's still a little warm you can slice it when it's baked, and then you don't get any distortion from when you're doing your slices. So if you know that you're going to be chopping up the whole or the majority of that cane, you can do that. So right, I'm quite small with that one now, probably smaller than I was expecting, but never mind. So I'm going to take some of these. I'll put 3 on. Things tend to look better when they're in odd numbers. I'm not sure why. I think it's something to do with balancing of his eyes or whatnot. I'm not very up on this sort of thing. And then I'll just get the end of my paintbrush again. I'm just going to push them in the centre just to make sure that they're stuck down. Okay. Then should I put some more of those on? See, this is how I work. I keep talking to myself. So if you do that, don't ever think that it's just you that doesn't. I'll stop being this one, I think. So I'm going to make it even smaller. So I'm going to keep one end at the size I've just done these ones, but I'm just going to make this end a tiny bit smaller. I want it quite thin because I'm putting it at the top point here, so I'm wanting it to be able to fit in that little gap. I think that's about right for it now. Again, just cleaning off the edge because it's bulged out with me reducing it again. Just going to take 2. That's that one down first. Another flower. So that's that one. So all that needs doing is baking now, and then I'll put a hole in it for me to be able to hang it somewhere. I think I'll probably just do wire work or just a simple beading thing with it. But because that's the centre, if you're cutting out more than one of these at a time, you could have 2 of those, and that's a pair of earrings. So that's one option, or you can use it as a dangle from that way, or you can have it go in at the bottom as another drop. So I'll have a think about that. I think that's what I'm going to do with it. Now with the other ones, I'm going to do a similar sort of thing, but I'm thinking of doing clay embroidery with them. Now I have got some pre-baked pieces. I'll just keep them in these little tins. If you want to learn how to decorate this sort of metal tin, I have got a video already up of how to do that. Now these are some more 3D ones, and these have already got rhinestones and things in them. So I'm going to put a coat of these on. Because these are baked, they are definitely a lot drier than what this clay is. We just need that added bit of adhesion to it. Now these tiny little bits I've just used micro cutters, and I've just cut them out and put rhinestones in if I wanted rhinestones in them, and baked them, and then I just keep them in these little tins, you know, handy, so when I want to do one of these projects, you know, because when you're cutting them all out and things, it can be a bit time consuming. But say if you want to do something really quick and easy and you've got these already done, you can sit and do these in front of the telly. You don't have to you know, worry about them. You know, if you want one of those times when you just want to keep your hands busy but you don't know what to do, you can do this sort of thing. So let's go with, in fact, I'm going to do a little bit of a floral thing in the centre. So I'm going to take some of these leaves. I'm going to take this brace off because it keeps catching up, Matt, and it must be annoying for you to hear. So I'm going to take some of the larger end ones. Right. They might actually be just a little too big. I've got a hair there anyway. Let's go with the others. Yeah. Might use those bigger slices later on. See, I don't really plan out when I'm doing this sort of thing. I just, you know, wing it pretty much. If I try planning stuff, then I overthink it, and you know, I end up not liking it because it's not how it's turned out in my head. Whereas if I just do something willy-nilly, as us Yorkshire folk say, you know, just decorating for the, you know, and enjoying the process, I tend to like my work more. So I've got my 5 leaves just in there, and I've pressed them in, and then I'm just going to take some of these flowers again. Now because I've put those on, I think I have to put a little bit more quickly on them because I'm going to layer them up on top of the leaves. So get some that have got some nice little rhinestones in. Now since finding out about micro cutters, I adore them. They make clay embroidery so much quicker. I mean, I still do like doing the you know, that traditional way of doing it, but like I say, if you're wanting to do something a lot quicker, you know, and these are definitely a must, the micro cutters. My husband's still working on making those ones. I think he has managed to make a micro cutter of just the outline shape of it. The smaller you get, the harder it is to do the centrepiece. So those are definitely something that's a bit more awkward for him to try and design on it. We're new to this 3D printer business, so we're just working out how to do things. Right, let's put you back there. Don't want to stick, see? That's what I mean with the other ones being drier. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some little dots around the outside. So I've just got some gold clay. I'm not going to need a lot to do with this anyway because it's tiny. I'm just going to roll it out into a snake. again, depending on what size cutters you're using, you know, yeah, just try and think of in proportion to what piece it is that you're making as to what size you want to do these. That's his if you're wanting to do it like what I'm doing. I'm just going to get some little slices. And when you take first, if you can manage to get it to stay on the blade, you can use that to figure out how thick to cut the rest of your slices. Doesn't work all the time, but most of the time anyway. And just take them into a little bowl. Get a bowl tool and it might be a bit easier. I think. There we go. So I'm just going to pick up a bowl tool, my bowl with my bowl tool, and then I'm just going to press down into it. So I'll get that little indentation there. I don't know how well you can see it, so it makes it look like a teeny tiny well. I think I'm going to go all the way around the edge with this. I'm not going to make you sit and watch me doing that. I'm going to go over it one more time for you. Just try and get it into a nice little ball, not a teardrop. And then pop it down and press down. So I'm going to do that all the way around on this piece. So once I've done that, right, so I've got that one done all together there. And the only thing I'll do with this one now is put a hole over here. And you could bead embroider around a bit. That I can just use that as a, oh god, I can't remember the name. To hold it down anyway, you know, put a bead through it. And I think, yeah, because that one goes with that one, doesn't it? Can always, if I ever want to put like another dangle into it, I can always just put another hole there. And just above where the point is, sorry, it went up then. Just above there, and then I'll be able to put a dangle piece in it. But that's the main one. So depending on whether if I turn that into just a pendant on its own, or whether if I want to back it, or do some bead embroidery around it, I've got that option. I've just put that one in there because I know I'm going to need at least that hole anyway, depending on whatever I do with it. So I'm going to get these ones cleared and work. Right, so I've cut out two of the Moroccan Donuts, but without the centre bit missing. It's the largest one of the cutters that I can find, because my other ones have decided to abandon me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a Christmas decoration. Obviously with the bigger ones you've got more space that you can decorate them and things like this, but I'm just going to show you, you can use it with any of them really. So what I'm going to do is both sides are going to be exactly the same, and I'm going to put an eye pin in the centre, but I'm just going to do some clay embroidery with this. I've got all my micro cutters that I might use, or I've just got my budget clay which I've done a video on before. So I'm going to start out with some red because I've gone for a nice gold, and just squidgy it out a little bit. Very technical term, squidgy art. Right, so I think what we'll do is I might do some lines, so I'll just take a little bit. I'm just going to roll it out into a long snake. Now if you've got an extruder you could use that, because if you're doing quite a few of these you want quickness, you don't want to have to be doing it all by hand. Because I'm just doing the one to show you different ways of using them, I'm just doing it by hand. It's quicker than getting all the rings out and everything. So I think I've got that round about right. So I think I'm going to go around the outside edge with it. That side's just a little bit too thick compared to the other one. So in fact I'm going to start at the top point. I'm just going to try and go around the edge, just so you can see a little bit better. You know, so I'm outlining the piece. Now, where's my needle tool? So save that bit. You can't kill it because it is really, really fine piece of clay. So trying to get it to go where you want can be a little bit fiddly. But if you just take your time, then you'll be fine. You can use sculpting tools or just your fingers, depending on what you find the easiest, really. Now you can do these as simple or as intricate as you want. Like I say, if you're using the bigger ones, which you get in your set, or any that you've got at home really, the bigger ones you've got more room to play, whereas, you know, with smaller ones you obviously haven't. So, like say if you're doing a series of these decorations, or, you know, pendants, if you're just turning them into pendants, which you can do, you know, you can have a sort of a production line going on, but each, like say if you're doing the larger ones and going to the smaller ones, you can reduce the amount of details that are on a piece, but obviously they'll all be coordinating because they've all got the similar sort of features and the same colours in. So depending on what you're wanting to do, that could be an option for you. Right, so I've got to the top and I've just overlaid them. I'll just do that so I can just pinch that in. So it's up to you whether if you want to leave it up like that. I think I'm going to just leave it raised. You could put some fat, you could put some texture in. So I'm just using my needle tool just to go around the outside edge. It's always a good thing when you're putting extra texture in, because it just adds that little extra element to your pieces. But this is the thing with clay embroidery, it takes time. So the micro cutters, they do make it a lot quicker. But I like doing this because it's sort of like zone. I get in the clay zone and then I can forget what's going on outside the world. So if I'm just wanting, you know, some headspace, it's a good thing for you to be able to do, because you're just concentrating on one little simple thing, you know, and it takes your mind off for other things that's going on. So say if you're stressed or you're worrying about somebody, this is just something nice and little that you can do just to keep your hands busy. So I find if my hands are not busy, that's when my mind wanders, and it's not a good thing sometimes when my white mind wanders. I worry over everything, so that's why I try to keep my hands busy as I can. So that's just that, but you probably can't see the really fine detail on that. I've just gone through and I've just made some little dots around it, and I'll do the next one the exact same. So what else can we put on? Right, let's see if I've got... So I have this one that looks a little bit like a Christmas tree, so I could do that. Oh no, I've actually got a Christmas tree. Yes. Let's get a little Christmas tree put in, so get my green. Now I only use my budget clay for this because it doesn't need any you know, stiffness to it, you know, like in a piece. But say if you're wanting to make a piece that's going to get a lot of wear and tear and that sort of thing, then I'd say use, you know, a better brand of it. But because this is just embellishment, I don't use it for anything else. So I'm just going to take this down a little bit on my pasta machine. Let's go one more. Like I say, if you have things at different thicknesses, then you'll get that added texture and element to your work. So I'm going to take my water again. In fact, yep, there we go. Squirt it. So for me, because then if I'm using more than one, and then I've got them for my other. And because I've got the clay stuck to the mat, the tree's not coming up inside the cutter. So, well, that's because it's all micron, plus my hands that tend to decide to drop things when I don't want them to. Right, so I'll cut out 3 cheese for each. So just take a needle tool and then we can try and pick it up with it. And because I'm that warm and my skin's rather sticky, it's not coming on, so we'll just put it straight on. Try not to be posh, I'm trying just to do it with my hands. Right, so I'm going to put these across the middle. Get any of the fuzzy bits around it from the cutters and just you can scrape them away with your needle tool or your nail, something like that. It's only ever sort of like a real fluffy edge. It's just with the really tiny cutters, the 3D printed, you can't get them as sharp as what you can, say, a metal cutter. So sometimes you can get these like fuzzy bits that can go around your edges with the micro cutters, but it's easily solved. Okay, so I've got my 3 little trees going on, and I think I'm just going to put some sort of got a snow, I don't know, I've actually got a snowflake. Oh, we've got a star. Let's go with the star instead. So, going with traditional Christmas colours at the moment, so but I think when I do other ones I'll go into a lot of nice other colours. There you go. Oh, got a dog hair in there. Again. It's more like a flower, this one, than a star. But it looks like a star there. You can repurpose them, they don't matter what they're intended to be. I always use them for something else. There we go, got our little tree, and what can we put at the bottom? Let's put a rhinestone or something. Right, finally found a rhinestone that I wanted, and I've got some teardrop ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of more gel, or if you've got some rhinestone UV glue, you know, what you can get in the nail section on Temu, AliExpress, Wish, all them sort of things, and it's just nail rhinestone adhesive. I find that works quite well with them, but I've just not got it in my studio at the moment. So I'm going to put the some that way down because I want it to go into the point, and then use whatever is your preferred method of pushing it down. So just push that back. Oh, now if you go and do that, you can kick yourself like what I do, but what I'm going to do is now, because I've got that nice little hole. In fact, let's get, where's the gold? So, just get my little snake of gold that I've got. So I was going to put something to wet all the rhinestone in anyway, but this is why I don't like pushing them in with this much. I prefer a pencil that's got like a rubber on the end, or what's the other thing? I think it's like a clay shaped, what's it? But so just getting these little bits. And some balls. Trusty needle tool again. What do I do with that one? Needle tool. Just gonna push it in. This way it holds in that rhinestone, but just as importantly, it covers up that hole that I made with my tool. Plus it gives another added bit to the bauble. So that's that. So you could put some tiny little bits of clay on these bits here, on, you know, on the trees and decorate them. Put some more of these in there. We're going to leave a gap, but decided that this is how clay embroidery is. It can just evolve from what you think you're going to do, and then it goes in another direction. There's nobody going to come and tell you you're doing it wrong, and if they do, they don't need to be in your studio or workspace, wherever you're doing it. There we go, so I've got it all done. So that's the first side done. So I'm going to go and do this one off camera because you don't need to see me doing it again, and I'll come back so we can pop it. Right, so I've got the two sides of my Christmas decoration all baked. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put them back to back and put an eye pin in it. Now I've got some homemade poly clay. It's just basically gold clay mixed with liquid clay, you know, translucent, or even if you've got some liquid gold clay already and you mix it up and it just makes like a thicker paste. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush some of this on the back. You can use just regular liquid clay. This is just a bit thicker, and plus with me having a gold backing on my ornament, I thought if it comes out of the sides it's not going to make a difference. If it's translucent it won't make a difference either, but I've got this, so this is what I'm using. So just I'm going to go all over the edge. Well, try not to go too much over the edge. I'm going to do the other side as well. And because these are both baked now, so it's trying to stick two dry things together. It's better if they've got that extra stickiness between them. There we go. Now, remember which way around you've got your little ornament, so I'm going to turn it over. So that's the top, and then I've just got this eye pin. You can buy these or you can make your own, depends on whether if you've actually got jewellery findings. So I'm just going to lay that there. Lift it up once it's in and then you'll be able to see better. And then you just take your other one and pop it so it's back to back. Now you can have that little bit of a, oh, that slipped down. The reason I haven't done this while it was unbaked is because I'm having to push this together to get it into the right spot, so it would have distorted the clay embroidery that I'd done. So now, because I've got this, I'm going to go around the edges. Oh, the other thing I can, we'll try doing that. You can put another roll of clay around to fill that gap in. So I'm just going around here with the poly clay, just so it's got something else to stick to. And remember, if you're using the gold, it's not going to make a difference anyway. So I've got a snake of gold clay. Now, depending on if you want this any thicker or thinner, right, just need to check whether if it's going to be able to go all around. No, so I'll just take it so it's a little bit thinner. I suppose you could just bake one half of it and then put the eye pin in the softer part and then push them together. But I didn't think of that until I've just been doing this. So I'm going to go on the edge. Yeah. And if you get this snake of clay up around the eye pin, that will hold the eye pin in place. So you could either just squish it down and smooth it out. I'm squishing it down so it bridges that gap in between the two pieces. Right, I think I'm happy with that now, so I've got it smoothed all around the edge. Now you could leave it like that, or you could pop some lines on. Using my trusty needle tool once again. Yeah, I'll smooth it back out. If your clay is a bit thicker, you can undo that and we'll see whether if it'll down here. If your clay is a bit thicker going around the edge, then you can do that, but for some reason it's not as thick around the top, so if you did want to do that, just take a little bit more gold clay and pop it on that bit. Oh, my pin's moved. Don't worry about changing your ideas of what you want to do on a piece. As you can see from what I've done, I've changed my mind probably 3 or 4 times now. But like you did the texture, well, like I did on the red piece on the outline, you can do that on the outside edge if you're putting extra clay on like this. You could always put a different colour on as well, you don't have to stick with what your base colour is. So I think I'm going to go around the edge now with my poly clay. So you get it all out. And then if there's any tiny little gaps that I can't see, it will fill them in. Again, it's just added protection for your piece. And so like the area where it's gone thinner, it might need that little extra bit of reinforcement. And if you just take a baby wipe, you can work around the edge of it if you have got some where you don't want it to go. So like say around here, I'm just going to take a baby wipe. Well, you could just use tissue, but I've got baby wipes everywhere, so that's what I prefer to use. And there we go. So I'll just bake that piece and I'll come back and show you everything. Right, so everything's all finished now and baked, and I've put them into the pieces I wanted to do, so I just thought I'd show you. So these little ones I just made into stud earrings, and that was using a set that's not got the centres removed, so these ones. So they're just some nice simple stud earrings. And then I went to go make some double hanging ones of these, but realised that my little bits that have come out of the centre, I've not got the right size post back, needed some small ones, so I might add them on later on, I don't know, but I've just made them into some simple hook drop earrings, you know, just with a jump ring, and put them on that way instead. And then with these ones, these are more of a statement set of earrings. These are with the clay embroidery on that we did, and that again is the one with the centre piece not missing, if you get what I mean. It's not cut out, it's just a whole piece. And then this is the big one with the centre missing that I've just turned into a simple necklace. So it's a good thing for little kids to make and do together, or you can jazz it up if you want to. And then this is just a little Christmas decoration or ornament, whatever you want to call it, that I've made. And I will be making some of the bigger sizes once I find the rest of my cutters. They'll probably turn up once I've finished filming. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you've got any questions, I'm always happy to answer them if you want to put them in the comments. If you've liked the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, if you consider subscribing, that'd be appreciated too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.